word. Okay, cool. So I wanted to share a little bit of a morning ritual with you guys. If you are focusing on wanting some tips as far as sticking to, some sort of a diet and fitness routine. And I put this together just because of a lot of people posted when I asked this question a few weeks back what they were struggling with, and it was motivation being stuck at home. And this is something that has been really key to me anytime I've had to hit a really serious goal for health and fitness. And when I've done those competitions is how I start my morning. And I have morning rituals, which involves exercising your mental muscle. So we're often thinking about exercise, working out physically, but we're not thinking about the fact that changing your mindset is something as well that is a practice of exercises to get stronger in your attitude and way of thinking and being committed to your goals. And most of the time, that's kind of the thing that ends up causing us to fall off the wagon or cheat or not do it, is the fact that we have lost focus at some point, or those feelings of like wanting to skip exercising or cheat kind of overtakes, and we sort of lose sight of our goals. Let me just see, I'm going to admit Lorraine in here. So these are things that I've practiced every morning as a morning ritual that has kept me totally focused on, a 4-month challenge of zero cheating, eating pretty much the same thing every day, weighing and measuring my food, and never missing an hour and a half of exercise a day. So what I'm feeding my mind is massive as far as being successful. So my morning ritual, and some of this might sound a little silly to you guys, but there's different things to get focused. And so the first thing that I do just to start my day up feeling positive is when I get up, I force a smile. And doing just that can change your thought patterns almost instantly, because oftentimes we wake up and the first thing we start thinking about is all the stress we have and all the things that is going to be happening in the day, and all this stuff on our plate. And just getting up and forcing a smile just almost changes your mood automatically. Deep breathing. So just instead of getting up and then your mind is floating with all this stuff, just taking a second of deep breathing, meditation or prayer, whatever it is, that actually helps to lower your cortisol first thing in the morning. And even if you don't have time to exercise, doing like a minute of jumping jacks or push-ups, anything that's going to increase your heart rate and release some of those feel-good endorphins is going to get you like awake and active and feeling good. But the biggest thing is affirmations and what we're telling ourselves in the day. And you see that a lot. It's, okay, what are affirmations, right? It's like, oh, I'm a positive person. I'm loved. I'm good at this kind of thing. But what the affirmations really need to be around is sort of your goal. So the questions to sort of ask yourself and to meditate on and that work well to be motivated is like, what are you committed to today? So if your goal is to get your exercise in and to eat right all day, that's going to be your commitment. So you're going to think about, well, why do I want to do that? Why is that meaningful? So maybe it's meaningful because you want to lose weight. Well, why do you want to lose weight? Why is losing weight meaningful to you? Or whatever it is that your goal is. And so kind of meditating and thinking about, and it's good to write this stuff down too. So kind of, getting focused on what your goal is, and then what are you going to do about it? Like, what actions are you going to take to make this happen? So oftentimes I encourage people to have a plan, like plan your week in advance. So if you should be scheduling out a time to be preparing your food and knowing what your meal plan is going to be and knowing the time of day that you're going to exercise. So, and if there's something in the way of that, like if there's a problem that's preventing you from reaching that goal, well, what is that problem and how are you going to figure out a solution? Because there's always a solution to every problem. And what actions are you going to take to make that happen? Then you have to visualize yourself doing it. So you're going to visualize, what you're going to have for lunch and when you're going to work out, and see you put yourself there doing it. And then kind of identifying the fears around that. Fears of, oh, nighttime's going to come and what am I going to be craving to eat? And what am I going to do about that? And starting to sort of pay attention to self-talk. So we are, we're thinking all the time. And something that I've learned to do to become very aware of is how I'm speaking to myself. So if I'm always saying I can't, or I'm thinking negatively, or I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe I put 25 pounds on in the last 6 months and I was in such great shape and oh, this is going to take forever. And any sort of negative thinking around your goal is not going to serve you in any way, shape, or form. It's actually going to create more negative energy and make it even harder for you to achieve that goal. So it's turning those fears and those can'ts into cans. And that is super empowering and motivating in on its own. So just sort of paying attention to how you're talking to yourself in the day. And the one thing that I do, that I've had to do, because I can tell you after, 8 to 12 weeks of not having a choice and not being able to miss the gym, I really have to get into a really positive mind state. So I can tell you I have had days where I did not want to do cardio. Like I was done with it. I didn't want to do it. And so I'm a huge fan of these motivational speeches on YouTube. And I most of the time listen to that over music while I'm working out, because these speakers are like famous for pumping you up and making you feel like a winner and you can do it. And it's so positive, and so it gets your head so focused and into it, just like positive music really pumps you up. And I'll start playing this when I get up in the morning while I'm making breakfast, and it just switches your mindset to feeling like you can do anything versus the focus going on to all the stuff that might be in the way or might feel challenging. So those are just some really good motivational rituals. And even writing it down, bringing it into work, reminding yourself why you're doing it. Because there's like pressure everywhere, right? Like you're at the office, especially the dental office, and people bring in their fast food for lunch, or they're ordering pizza, and like you want to just sort of go along with that. It's easy, right? And you'll talk yourself out of your goal. You'll just be like, well, I'll just do it this one time, kind of thing. So being prepared for being in places of temptation is huge, because oftentimes I tell people, if you're really focused on a diet and say you're somebody who absolutely is addicted to like movie theater popcorn, maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks that you're on your meal plan, you're not going to go to the movie theater, because you're just going to set yourself up. Or you're not going to go hang out at a restaurant with a bunch of your friends where they're drinking alcohol, because you're just going to set yourself up for failure. And that's nothing wrong with you being a failure. That's just like you're putting so much temptation on you. So those are just like some coaching ideas if you're having a difficult time staying on track. And that's really the best way is to get the head focused, work your mental muscle. And that's like key to staying focused and staying on track with your goals. So now we're going to get into the meat of it. So the whole thing that I wanted to talk about with this is stress and cortisol, because a lot of people are dealing with stress right now. And so just some diet tips that are going to help weight loss, as far as supporting the systems that raise cortisol levels. And you know that you are somebody with higher cortisol levels if you are gaining weight around your midsection, you are having difficulty with sleeping, your mood is up and down. What's the other one? Inflammation, mood, weight. I can't remember, it's not coming to me right now. But there are some signs of high cortisol in the body. So if you're under stress, that's most likely. But with digestive health, anytime you're experiencing a stressful situation, your body gets into that fight or flight mode. So it's going to shunt blood away from you. I'm just going to check and make sure nobody else is trying to get in. No, okay. So blood gets sent into your extremities for movement, shunts blood away from your stomach and your intestines, which slows digestion down. If you don't have enough stomach acid in your gut, you're not going to digest your protein well. And if you have a lack of protein digestion, you have a lack of vitamin B. And vitamin B is what your adrenal glands use up. The adrenal glands are what produces the hormone cortisol. I talk about adrenals a lot. Most people don't know what I'm talking about, but there are these little glands on top of your kidneys. And so when you get stressed out, they release some hormones. One is cortisol. And these glands, to function properly, use up a lot of B vitamins and vitamin C. So if you are stressed, you're not digesting protein, you're lacking vitamin B, this system isn't going to work well. And complications with underactive adrenal glands kind of have to do with that, like feeling kind of that dip, that fatigue in the middle of the afternoon. Going from sitting to standing, you can get lightheaded, or simply you just can't cope well in stressful situations mentally, and it's exhausting for you and you can't emotionally handle it. Those are some indications that that system needs a little bit of help. So you want to be digesting your food well to get the right vitamins to support your adrenal system, which is your vitamin B and C. If you are somebody who is having issues with fertility, or you're in pre or post menopause, your adrenal glands take over the job of your reproductive system to produce the hormones that it stops making. So now they're extra taxed. So then you're going to have more symptoms related to menopause if that system isn't being supported. So stress affecting the nutrients that your adrenals need to work well for you in your body with those two areas. If your cortisol levels are high, you're going to be hungrier, you're going to be craving more food, having higher cravings, and your blood sugar is going to be unstable because cortisol raises insulin. And the more insulin that's free floating in your bloodstream, the more your body's going to store fat. So this is a hormone that is super important to pay attention to when it comes to weight loss, because you can be doing everything right, but if your insulin levels are too high, because you're under stress, because there's too much cortisol hormone, you're going to have a very difficult time losing weight. So what do we do if we aren't digesting well? So everything starts in the stomach. So these are just some suggestions to help improve the digestion of food in your stomach so you're getting the right vitamins. And so you can include pineapple and papaya are two fruits that have an enzyme called bromelain, which increases stomach acid. So that helps digestion. The other thing too is you can eat by combining foods in a way that speed up digestive transit time, which means instead of creating your plate with a carbohydrate, a protein, a fat, and a veggie, you're either just going to combine protein with veggies and fat, or carbs and fat and veggies, which looks like a vegetarian, meatless kind of a meal. That's a lot less for your body to digest all at once, and it speeds up transit time. The other thing we forget to do, and I get made fun of all the time for this because I just got this from my father, but me and my dad eat like super fast. It's like, who's going to finish supper first? Do we even chew our food? Like it's a running joke in my family. So taking the time to actually chew your food is a massive indigestion. And I mean chewing it, like you're breaking most of it down in your mouth before you're swallowing it. That helps reverse issues of, you know, if you have underactive stomach, if you have a lot of bloating and gas, you eat, you still feel hungry after you've eaten, even though you've eaten a lot, or you feel like food is just sitting in your stomach forever. Those are some indications you've got low stomach acid. Apple cider vinegar, is huge. Now, I can't drink this stuff because it's disgusting. I'm not going to lie. I don't like it. Some people don't mind doing shots of it. I can't do shots of it. But you can get pills. You can get little tablets, or you can mix it up in salad dressing that masks it a little bit. That is huge for improving protein digestion. It doesn't do much to lose weight. There's some stuff out there saying if you take apple cider vinegar, it's going to help you to lose weight. But like, not really. Like it might make you lose an extra 2 or 3 pounds over the course of several months, but it's not going to do anything like that. What it does do though is if you are suffering from any sort of buildup of plaque in the arteries, what it does is if you know anybody that's dealing with like a heart condition because of plaque buildup, the reason for most of that is not from a high cholesterol diet. It is from the fact that your pH is off in your body and you have free floating calcium, which is depositing in your arteries. So apple cider vinegar every day balances your pH out and allows your body to absorb more calcium. So it's better for your bones and your joints and all that stuff too. The other thing is for drinking liquids. If you think you're not digesting protein well, don't drink a ton of liquids with the meal. Drink 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, and just take light sips with your meal, and that's going to not dilute your stomach acid, so you're going to digest your food better. All right, getting into gut health. The 6 gut killers, which is the kind of the killers for everything. So stress, we've been talking about sugar, refined foods. When you eat added sugar and added flour, it actually demineralizes your body and causes your body to release and let go of vitamins and minerals. So it like strips the body of nutrients, this refined stuff. Anything that's considered toxins that bogs your liver up with having to get it out of your system. Antibiotics, if you've ever had to do a round of antibiotics in your life, there's a pretty good chance you have destroyed a lot of the ecosystem in your gut, and I'll get into that in a minute. And gluten tends to be a bit of an allergen as far as causing inflammation within your intestinal system and throughout the body, and anything that causes inflammation also increases your cortisol. Now, I'm not a big anti-gluten person. What I will do though is I will remove it out of people's diets for 2 or 3 weeks and then add it back in, and that's sort of like a self test to see if it's actually causing any issues for you that you might not be aware of. Because again, if a food is causing inflammation in the body because you have an allergen to it, your cortisol is going to be higher, because cortisol is the body's natural anti-inflammatory. And city tap water. So anything that's got added fluoride or chlorine in it is going to kill off healthy gut bacteria. So you probably didn't know this, but 99% of your body is not your own bacteria cells. It's all gut bacteria from the microbiome. And the microbiome is considered a second brain in the body, and I'm going to get into a minute as well. But if you take antibiotics, the ecosystem of your microbiome, I want you to think about it as a rainforest. Like, that's how much diverse life and different types of bacteria is going on in there. The minute you take antibiotics, that rainforest turns into a desert. And so how do you grow a rainforest out of a desert? That's what you're looking at when you've done a round of antibiotics and you want to fix your gut health. So there's a process involved. And again, the bacteria in your digestive system is responsible for the manufacturing of all of your vitamins and minerals. So if you're missing certain strands, sometimes you can never get those back. So antibiotic treatment is something really serious to consider if you really need it. And I know too, since I've been back working in the dental field, the amount of people getting prescribed antibiotics, I'm just like, oh, like it's not something that should just be like printed off at will for people. Like it does really affect your health in a negative way. So back to stress, your brain and your gut are connected. Your gut's like a second brain. And the reason for that is everybody thinks about neurons in your brain, but your gut bacteria actually has over 100 million neurons. And so if the bacteria in your gut is unhealthy bacteria, that bacteria craves sugar to live off of. It needs that organism in your body needs toxins and sugar and bad food to feed off of it, some of this stuff. So it's going to signal to your brain that you need sugar. So this is where people feel like, oh man, like, willpower and I'm craving stuff and I'm addicted, da da da. There is something else living in you that is more cells than your own human cells that is actually signaling to your brain that it's going to die if it doesn't get some more of this junk that's been feeding the bad gut bacteria. So it's very connected to your brain. The other thing is as far as your mood goes, 90% of the serotonin, which is your body's natural happy mood hormone, is created in your gut. So if you've got too much bad gut bacteria, you're going to have lower levels of serotonin in the body. And that's going to affect your mood and your sleep patterns. So this is why it's important to support gut health. And yeah, the bacteria in your gut can influence the way we act and behave because it can affect our mood, because it can affect our cravings. The other thing that can affect your mood, just taking a break from that for a minute, is why we stay away from bad fats. So anything that you purchase that is packaged or processed often has some sort of a vegetable oil or a canola oil or a trans fat or saturated fat or hydrogenated fat. The neurons in your brain are coated with what's called a myelin sheath, and this is what's responsible for like sending the different signals throughout the brain. And that sheath is made up of healthy fats. So it's made up of, healthy fats include like fats from nuts and seeds and flax oil and fish oil and coconut oil and olive oil. But hydrogenated fats, or the bad fats, like your margarine, your vegetable oil, your canola oil, will mimic good fat and start making up that sheath, and that disrupts signals in the brain. So anytime you're eating that kind of food, you're actually changing the chemistry of this sheath around the neurons in your brain. And so it is affecting your mood. So you want to get rid of all that crap. You want to get rid of margarine. Butter is fine. If you're trying to lose weight, it's not the best choice for weight loss, but there's nothing wrong with like organic free range butter. There's lots of health benefits to it, including how it can support healthy gut bacteria. The other thing that we're hearing a lot about right now is supporting the immune system. And everybody's like, antioxidants, take antioxidants. What the heck are antioxidants? This is what antioxidants mean. Antioxidants stop the oxidization of your cells, which is death to your cells. So if a cell is oxidized, it dies. Those bad fats create oxidation in the body. So if you're eating that kind of stuff, if you're eating margarine, if you're eating prepackaged foods and crackers and chips, you are causing a process of oxidation or the death of cells in your body, which is always in fight with whatever you're consuming that contains antioxidants. So there's this push-pull happening. So if you had no antioxidants in your body, you would be experiencing a lot of rapid cell death, but we have tons of antioxidants in our body because we're also taking in those kinds of foods. But what this does is it's weakening the immune system because there's this battle going on between the crap that we're eating and the good stuff. So it's best to just get rid of it in general. All right, so we've gone through a little bit about the importance of having healthy gut bacteria. So these are some basic, simple things that you can do to stimulate the growth of healthy bacteria. So one is eating in that format to boost digestion in the stomach and chewing your food. And then including prebiotics and probiotics. So prebiotics are like garlic, onion, asparagus. If you guys don't know what Jerusalem artichoke is, this is a new vegetable to me, but it's basically like a potato, but it's really, really low on the glycemic index scale. So it's not going to spike your blood sugar like a potato would, and leeks. So I've been getting a lot of prebiotics because I've been making a lot of soups. You guys have probably been seeing me post that. I've never done this before. I got into it, and now this is like my new way to eat vegetables. I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm finding it very comforting, and it's just packed full of nutrients. I'm feeling awesome getting that in. But cooking with garlic and onion. Probiotics, we all know what probiotics are. Getting some fermented foods into your diet is really beneficial. I do kefir in my smoothies, which is a fermented sour milk beverage, but I don't taste it because I've blended it up with other things. Plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, sauerkraut, pickles, kombucha. If you guys have heard of kombucha, that's something that's fermented full of, it's a good probiotic. Then you've got foods that help strengthen the lining of your gut. And when you do that, it just prevents undigested food from getting absorbed. And anytime that happens, it's a situation called leaky gut. Most people who have arthritis have leaky gut. And what's happening is undigested large particles of protein are getting absorbed into the into the bloodstream, and your immune system is attacking that as something foreign, and it's showing up as inflammation throughout the body. So glutamine, if you've been following me on our group page there, I've been talking about L-glutamine amino acid a lot. If you've done weight loss with me, you've heard me talk about it a lot. This is a big one for curbing cravings, but it also heals your gut lining and reduces inflammation. And like I said before, the less inflammation, the less cortisol, the more chances you're going to have of losing weight. And your low sodium organic bone broth is a natural source of glutamine, but it also is very healing and very anti-inflammatory. So I've been making a lot of soup and using that. Other things that are anti-inflammatory foods are your leafy greens, your spinach, kale mix, dark greens, flaxseed oil, turmeric, ginger, and your fish oils. So eating salmon, eating fish every day. If you don't like fish, you should probably be investing in a good quality fish oil to take every day for good health and good mental health too. And there have been studies that have come out if you're struggling to lose weight. And I think I've shared this video in the past, so some of you guys might have already seen it if you've been on an email list, but they have done studies where they have taken a mouse and fed it crap and made it really fat. And then they've taken the bacteria out of that mouse and put it in a mouse that they've continued to feed healthy food, and that mouse got fat from the bacteria transfer. So you can have fat bacteria in your gut and skinny bacteria in your gut. And that bacteria is what is affecting your genes, to the point now that they are starting to believe that a lot of the evolutionary process for people has had to do with the changes in that bacteria. So this has all been fairly new research that is coming out as far as the degree with which it influences our health in every way. So we want to make sure we're including these kinds of foods in our diet every day and getting rid of bad stuff. The other thing is, if you're dealing with stress and you're having sleep issues, the focus is to boost your serotonin levels in your body. And the way to do that is to eat foods that contain natural tryptophan. We all associate tryptophan with turkey. We have our, Thanksgiving turkey or Christmas turkey, and the joke is how tired and sleepy you feel after eating turkey. So why are you not eating turkey if you are having trouble sleeping at night? I like extra lean ground turkey. I make turkey burgers all the time, or I'll do like a turkey taco salad or turkey over potatoes or something like that, or I'll buy turkey breast. Salmon can have the same effect. And eating dairy, so like cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, we've all heard about how warm milk helps you to sleep, but we're not doing that. Like, we're not babies, so we're not having warm milk before we go to bed, but that helps you to sleep. Bananas and cherries are also produce tryptophan, bananas especially. So if you're doing like a Greek yogurt with some bananas before bed at night, it's going to help you to sleep better. Eggs as well. I do eggs a lot, like a omelet before bed at night. And then vitamins that help support mood and supplements. So these are different. I have some different amino acids listed here. So what an amino acid is a complete protein is made up of 22 different amino acids, and each of those play roles in the body of doing different things. So supplements have extracted certain amino acids to get different results. And so some of those help improve the processes, the chemical processes in the brain to help with mood, depending on where that comes. So the first one listed here is called L-tyrosine. And this is in a lot of like pre-workout supplements. So it gives you a bit of energy without a caffeine stimulant, but it also is like acts as a natural anti-anxiety. So if you're taking like an anxiety medication and there are side effects associated with that and you think you want to get off of it, first of all, start making these kinds of diet changes for several weeks, and then start talking to your doctor about maybe seeing how you can wean off of it, and then reversing into taking some different amino acids, because some of these are contraindicated with certain medication, because they're kind of doing the job that the medication is doing, and so then it's a little bit of overkill. Fish oils and healthy fats, huge at boosting your mood, because like we said, that neurotransmitter, that myelin sheath, is made up of those healthy fats. 5-HTP is a very good supplement for depression, fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome or IBS, because it boosts serotonin. If you have stress and anxiety in the day, you can take it throughout the day, up to 3 a day, and it's going to keep you leveled out and feeling calm. If you take one an hour before bed, it's going to help you to sleep. There's a favorite amino acid of mine called L-theanine, and this is naturally in green tea. So if you drink 3 or 4 cups of green tea a day, you're going to get a lot of this amino acid. And what it does is it creates mental focus and clarity. So with green tea, you're getting the stimulation of the caffeine from the green tea. But if you don't have green tea, and you can just buy this as a separate supplement online or any natural health food store or GNC, and it lowers cortisol. It keeps you feeling calm, and it stimulates mental focus. So this is a favorite supplement of mine as well. Valerian root is a natural herb that helps you to sleep. That's what the sleepy time teas are made up of. That again, there's certain medications you can't combine 5-HTP or valerian root with, so read the label or ask your doctor. But it helps you to fall asleep. But what it really does well is if you're somebody that has an issue with waking up in the middle of the night, you can't fall back to sleep, it helps you to stay asleep. L-glutamine helps to curb cravings at night. And again, it reduces inflammation, so it's going to reduce cortisol. So then you're not going to have, better blood sugar levels. And then the other one is a magnesium calcium supplement before bed. And that acts like a natural muscle relaxant. If you get Charlie horses a lot, it can be an indication of, or a lot of muscle fatigue or weakness can be an indication of a lack of magnesium. So this helps you to stay asleep, fall asleep, acts like a muscle relaxant. And if you are taking magnesium, you can take magnesium by itself for 3 or 4 weeks. Sometimes when I start people with a diet program, I give them straight up magnesium because it kind of can act like a natural laxative and start clearing out your gut system, like a detox. But then you want to do a ratio of 1 to 2 with calcium, because if you only take magnesium, the body's going to strip calcium from your bones to balance your pH out. So typically I will do 300 milligrams of magnesium with 600 milligrams of calcium. And if you buy a calcium magnesium liquid, that is the ratio of that supplement. And you just take a tablespoon before you go to bed at night, and it's going to help you with sleep. So those are just some good tips for improving your gut health and having less stress and anxiety. So yeah, that's all I got. Got some good tips?
Yep.
Good. Awesome. Any questions you guys have, or anything you want to know about?
How much glutamine can you take in a day?
I do a teaspoon in the morning and a teaspoon at night.
Okay.
You can do once a day too.
That's okay. Enough. Well, I do try to do twice, but
yeah, that's just fine. I like in the morning on an empty stomach, and empty stomach before bed at night. It's absorbed best that way.
Oh, okay.
And I've been doing that for years.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just find I have a lot of cravings for sweet stuff lately.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's mostly boredom, but